So today we're going to take a look at EG versus Team Heretics, because EG, who I think, a lot of people had as, potentially the worst NA team in the Tier 1 scene, well, they came out swinging yesterday as the first time we saw them, as they looked pretty good, I'm not going to lie. And we're going to take a look here at Ascent against Team Heretics. And we're actually going to start off with a round that they lose, because I think that this was probably one of the better rounds that Heretics played, and I think this is good kind of understanding of how to play the situation that Heretics find themselves in. So this is Heretics bonus. You can see here that they don't have great guns. They have one Guardian, one Spectre. The rest is not so pretty, and so this should be a round that you think, well, they've got really not much chance of winning. And in fact, it starts off even worse, because Calm here, he's got an Odin on the Sova. His dart goes off. They do destroy it, but he just starts spamming anyway, and Zeke dies pretty quickly there. So they end up very quickly in the round, right, in a 4v5, and they don't really have many guns, right? So, it's not looking too good. They do kind of, carry on with the plan at first of, they come towards B main. A KO knife then suppresses like 3 of them, and so, now, I mean, they know that they're there, right? So EG, you saw just there with the shock darts, they get the smoke up, right? And you're in this 4v5, and in this situation, right, you're in a 4v5, you've already lost a kill. I'm sure many of you will have been in this situation before, where, you lose the first kill early on the attack side, particularly on a map like Ascent. There's still plenty of time left. What should you do, right? Well, what you should do is try and find the next kill, right? You're no good just trying to really exec onto the site when you've got worse guns and you're down a player. Even if you did manage to take the site and get the spike down, your post plant probably isn't going to be amazing anyway. So, it can still be rough, even if, you did even manage to get onto the site. As you see, EG push A main, and in this spot right here, EG, they're in a pretty good situation. They've repelled this first attack, they're a player up, they come in drone here in B main as well, and, they've gone and taken A main as well now, so, they have quite a bit of space, and they're feeling pretty comfortable. What's about to happen here is they're about to run, like a bit of a fake here, our Heretics, and this is going to work pretty well. This is insane by Kellogg's. He manages to go for this jet smoke, and he whips it round this corner and actually gets it all the way from down here, all the way to there. It's not like perfect, but it's good enough to kind of maybe sell this fake. And Mixwell here, he's going to throw a flash in there as well. And so this was kind of like crazy, to be honest, that smoke that came in all the way across the map there. So they try and sell like, oh yeah, there's a bit of pressure coming in here, right? And you see that actually gets the reaction here from BCJ. They throw the KO knife in there as well, where he's going to put down the smoke on this A site. As they're a bit worried about this. They even start to drag maybe a rotate over across as well with this little fake. But what happens is Avova, as you can see, they actually start coming back towards B. Avova notices this alarm bot just here, right? So he gets up to it, he knows that it's there. So what he's going to do, and you can see it just here, he's going to put a smoke, right? They ping it. He's clearly pinging where the alarm bot is. So they smoke it off and actually cross instead. And this is just genius, right? Because they found that little gap that they needed, right? And so what's going to happen is Boostio, we saw him run back this way, but now, he's coming back after, they haven't really heard anything since. And he's going to get caught with the timing here as he's coming back towards this B site. He's about to just run, completely oblivious because he thinks the alarm bot is still up. Mixwell's just there, and he just gets a free kill. So we end up all of a sudden in a 4v4, and Carmen now is in a lot of trouble, right? Because his teammates are a long, long way away, so, he has to delay and try and find kills for quite some time with this Odin. He does manage to get one, but then he gets revealed by this dart, and then the Guardian is just going to spam him through by Mixwell there. We end up in a 3v3. They lose the site, and also they've given up a couple guns as well. So now Heretics have the guns even. They get the spike down, and well, here we go. 3v3 post plant, and they're going to do well enough here. They get the nice little double angle here that actually isn't going to come into use. Mixwell's going to time his kind of jump across here pretty well as the KO knife comes in from EG. They're also going to flash here with BCJ. Mixwell, perhaps realizing his teammates are in trouble, just goes for it, right? Just goes for the hop with his Spectre. It works out, and Kellogg's gets that kill as well. And then ultimately, Ethan will die here to the spam from Boo, and Heretics would take a 3-0 lead, which would become a 4-0 lead, and it looked like a really good start by Heretics, and I really liked how Heretics kind of approached that round and kind of found that little gap, and then used that to exploit and really get back into this round. But now let's come to round number 7, because after going 4-0 down, EG would really start to turn the tide and end up winning this half 7-5. And it really all started when Boostio got the operator into his hands, but he doesn't have the operator in his hands this time, because Boostio has it instead. And Jogmo, as you can see here, has a rifle, right? And they're just going to go for this massive pace change where, we've won the last 2 rounds kind of, with an operator playing a big part of that. But now here we go with our jet, pushing at you with a rifle here. And we've got Ethan and Com just on the B site here. We're going to get a flash down here. We're also going to be sending a dart into kind of the B lobby area. And then we're going to get a Soveralt as well. And it's all just really, really nice stuff. And Jogmo, you see off the flash there, manages to get the first kill. He dashes out. I mean, look at the timing of this, right? Just as he's coming up, he actually doesn't quite manage to get the kill. Unfortunately for him, it's Kellogg's there who can, updraft and dash away and whatnot. And then comes the Soveralt as well. They won't get any more kills from this. They actually, do get a Soveralt back from Heretics coming out. And Jogmo gets into this position. We are in a good 5v4. They kind of got what they wanted there, right? And it looks really good for them. Now, Jogmo here, right, he does have the option to probably retreat, and this is probably, one of the mistakes he does make here is that, he doesn't retreat here, and ultimately he's going to end up taking this just duel against Mixwell, and he loses it, right? So, potentially there, that is a mistake that they made. They give up B main, but from here, EG are going to play this round really well. I mean, this exec by Heretics, I don't love it. It felt like it was just a bit rushed, right? Because you see Kellogg's is going in, right? He's actually ahead of the drone of Boo. But in fact, if we look at the rest of the utility we could use for this as well, right? We've got, an Omen flash in here. We've still got Soverdot. We've still got KO Knife in there. They are going to use this flash, but basically this ends up being an exec of Kellogg's going in with one flash. When we still have a lot of other utility that we could potentially be using, I just feel like maybe Heretics needed to take a breath before they, kind of went for this. Because Kellogg's does go in, and in he goes, and there's the flash, but Com doesn't get caught by the flash, and so he dies, and then everyone else is just kind of stuck behind. And so yeah, maybe a bit rushed there, obviously, like in the heat of the moment. Maybe they could have slowed down, and then we end up with over TPs across, so he tries to get across now, but he gets pinged by the dart, and he's going to get Omen flashed himself and just, spam through these paper walls. So we end up in a 2v4, but this is what I really love about EG here, right? They have pretty good info that these guys are here, right? They've seen the KO flash, they've seen the Silver drone, because Boo did use it, so they know that both of them were in B main, or at least they should have a good idea. And so look at these three, right? Obviously, Com is just on the site, and there's not really much he can do about that. And he obviously is just tasked with kind of, if they come to the site, what do you do? But the other three are just, we're just sticking together. If these guys wanted to go and plant on this A site, let them, right? It's absolutely fine. We're in a 4v2. We'll just play retake in the 4v2, and we should win either way, right? Because we're in a 4v2. And so that's absolutely fine. So they just stick as a close-knit group, right? If they did come to the site, Com's job here is basically just, live as long as you can, and we'll be there, and we can either trade you out, or, we'll get the kill before you even die. That's his job. And you see that Mixwell, he starts, looking for a kill. He's hoping that EG, kind of give him that opportunity, but they don't, right? They just stick as a tight-knit group. They don't really give anything up. You can see the Com is just jump peeking here, right? Again, which is just, we're just playing super, super safe. And again, this is something that you don't need to be like a genius to understand that, in this 4v2, you want to play safe. And so eventually, Mixwell is going to come around here with a dart. They even put an alarm bot down here, right? Because they think that, they're going to get pushed by Mixwell here, which exactly happens. And then they're just there to absolutely decimate it, right? And so, and now Boo's just in a 1v4, and good luck winning a 1v4. But even in the 1v4, right, I've seen, teams would just, maybe Ethan just runs out, right? No, we're just going to make sure there is a literal 0% chance you are going to win this round. They played this really, really well, EG, and it was stuff like this all day, which, gave them a very, very handsome win. But now let's come to the attacking side, because EG had some really nice rounds here as well, particularly this one, round number 19, where actually they don't have that great of a buy, right? They have 3 Stingers in there, 1 Odin, 1 Phantom. It's not the best buy in the world, but they're going to make this fast B exec look really, really good, right? Because with this buy, right, it's not great, but watch this. And we start off with the Odin spam, the counter Odin spam. And I love this for a B main exec going for this counter Odin spam, because often what will happen is what Boo is doing right here, right? He's going to dart up here, right? If you go for this fast exec, oh, you get revealed. Oh, you get spammed. Oh, 2 people are dead. We can't go for this fast exec. Oh no, panic, 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 right? Instead, whilst you're busy darting, I'm just going to spam you. So now you can't spam back. So no one's going to die from your spam. And then you are going for that spam, you're going to have to run away, right? And that's exactly what happens. And it's absolutely just like one of those little details that I think was just really, really well thought out. And, in this situation, just worked a treat for them because you see, it doesn't disrupt their timing too much either. So what we're going to see is an Omen Flash, this common Omen Flash. You get the KO knife in there. But what I'm really about to like, as the spam does get some damage onto Boo, he goes down to 18 HP here. What I really, really like here is this flash and dash is absolutely insane. Because as Jorgmo dashes on just there, you see, oh, he gets flashed. But the flash comes just behind his head. So the timing on that, right? We've sent that flash in, and then Jorgmo's dashing, and he's dashing just in front of the flash. So the flash is catching Boo completely full face, but Jorgmo's only getting the flash, just behind his head. So he's not going to be flashed for long at all. So you see, he ends up just completely mopping up. It's really, really nice stuff. And even though he does die, what we're then going to get is this Omen ult onto site that is going to die. But then we get the dart coming in from Calm that's going to be just on the top of this tree here as well, that's going to ping Zeke. And you see, for this second kind of layer, yes, Zeke does manage to get the kill, and he kills the Omen as well. Zeke now, as Boostio is coming around, right, he now has to turn and ping and kill this dart, right? Otherwise, he's just going to get spammed. So Boostio gets one as well. Now, Kellogg's does manage to kill Ethan, but they do manage to get the cross here as, and this is kind of the thing that I was talking about with Heretics, right? Where they just, to get those people out, right, they take their time a bit more. They then drone to make sure that Kellogg's is pushed away. Obviously, Boostio is deeper onto the site. So now it allows the others to come in and cross with the spike eventually as they pick it up there, as BCJ goes to pick it up and he goes to plant. So we end up in a 3v3, but considering the buy that they had, this is pretty good. And I love that flash that they did. I thought that was really, really cool. So we end up in this situation. 3v3 Heretics are going to come in for this retake. They're going to smoke this off, but again, they're going to maybe get a bit lazy here, I guess, is the word. I don't really know what I would call it, because they go for the retake, right, and they send in all their util, but just this smoke, as you can tell and you can see, like, there's someone in there, right, and so they're just going to come and peek out, so they don't really clear it out or anything, and so Com just comes out the smoke. Boostio manages to get the first kill, and Mixwell's just free for Com just there. And so yeah, maybe not the best from them here. And actually, Avova manages to get that kill somehow, but gets spammed out by BCJ, and EG would go on to win the round. And I just loved what they did in this one. And now let's come to round 21, where it's even a worse bind. This is going to be the last round in the game, but I mean, they've got a Spectre, again, 3 Stingers and only 1 rifle. It's not great, but again, I'm going to really love what they do here, because in this meta that we're in right now, a lot of Sova ults will just be saved to counter a Killjoy ult, right? You see that a lot. You see a lot of Sovas just holding onto their ult. Oh, I'm waiting for a Killjoy ult, and then I'm going to use it, right? And actually, you can tell here that Heretics, they are kind of playing for a bit of a retake setup here on A. The drone comes out here from Com, but actually they are coming up short with their Stingers, and what we're going to get in just a second is they're going to wait for Com to drone. He's then going to go and then just put a dart in here, and they get the jet smoke. The dart is about to come just above their heads, as you can see, and now we're going to get the Sova ult, right? So just, not playing the kind of normal way, mixing it up and stuff like that, and they managed to get the first kill there with Com, getting the ult, and he actually manages to get Mixwell as well, as he pinged him the first and second time, and so they end up in this great situation, and so now they're like, okay, well, now I'm popping KO ult because we're in a really good spot. Okay, Boostio dies there, but we end up in a 4v3, and now Com, after, being the guy down here, right, he darted and then sent the ult down, he's now the lurker who's going to come down here, right, and just kind of be the backstab of this whole process, right? So Heretics come in for this retake again. They come, send out the drone. Good flash by BCJ to make sure that Jorgmo can stay alive there. Com waits for that dash. That's kind of his signal to go in after he hears Kellogg's dash just there. Gets the kill on Avova, and ultimately we actually will end up in a 2v1. Maybe not the cleanest in this 4v2, as it gets a bit chaotic here, and Kellogg's manages to find these frags. But Jorgmo is going to end up just swinging around using this Stinger, which turns out is still pretty good, and ultimately managed to win the game for EG just there. And I think on the whole, over the course of the 2 maps, EG looked like this was one of the better performances we'd seen, I think, from a team so far in this tournament. And so, the EG stocks maybe on the rise, and maybe we have another contender in this stacked Americas league, because it seems like all these Americas teams are really looking somewhat decent here, and EG, maybe you can add them to this list.